Beauty and the Beast, a tale of darkness and light. Once upon a time, in a distant town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a wealthy merchant. He was known not only for his riches but also for his kindness. He had 3 daughters who were the joy of his life. The 2 older daughters, Clarissa and Louise, adored grand parties, fine silks, and glittering jewelry. They spent their days dreaming of luxury and their reflections in mirrors. But the youngest daughter, Belle, was different. She found magic in books, wandered through gardens, and spoke to birds and trees. Her heart was gentle and her soul curious. She didn't seek treasure or praise, but stories, meaning, and love. One stormy night, news arrived that would change their fate. A violent tempest had destroyed the merchant's ships, his fortune lost to the sea. They were forced to leave their mansion and move to a modest cottage at the edge of a village. While Clarissa and Louise mourned the loss of their jewels and silks, Belle remained serene, tending to the flowers and reading tales of faraway lands. One day, hope returned. A letter came saying one of the merchant's lost ships might have survived. Before leaving to investigate, he asked his daughters if they wished for anything upon his return. Clarissa demanded, "A pearl necklace to restore my dignity." Louise added, "A pair of gloves made from the finest silk." Belle simply smiled and said, "Bring me a single red rose. That will be enough." The merchant reached the port, only to find that the ship had been looted. Nothing remained. Heartbroken and caught in a heavy storm on his journey home, he wandered through a forest he did not recognize. There, hidden behind veils of mist, stood a grand castle unlike any he had ever seen. Its gates opened by themselves, the lights flickered to life, and a table inside was set with a warm feast. Though no host appeared, the merchant, tired and cold, accepted the silent hospitality. The next morning, while walking through the gardens, he found a bush of perfect red roses. Remembering Belle's wish, he gently plucked one. But at that very moment, a roar like thunder shook the air. A creature emerged from the shadows, taller than any man, with curved horns, glowing eyes, and a voice that echoed through the ground. "You were welcomed as a guest, and now you steal from me?" the beast growled. The merchant fell to his knees. "Forgive me. It was for my daughter, nothing more. I took no gold, no jewels." The beast glared for a long moment before speaking. "You may go. But in your place, one of your daughters must return, willingly, or you will stay here forever." Trembling, the merchant returned home and told his family everything. Clarissa and Louise refused. But Belle, with calm resolution, stepped forward. "It was my request. I will go." And so she rode into the forest on a white horse sent by the beast, arriving at the castle with courage in her heart. At first Belle was afraid. The beast's appearance was terrifying, but his actions were not. He treated her with respect, offered her the finest food, and gave her an entire library filled with books from every corner of the world. Each evening he joined her for dinner, and each night before parting he would softly ask, "Do you love me? Will you marry me?" Belle, though moved by his kindness, always replied, "No, not yet." Days turned into weeks. Belle explored enchanted gardens where flowers whispered secrets and fountains sang songs. She read books about faraway stars, brave heroes, and ancient kingdoms. But it was in her conversations with the beast that she discovered his true nature, thoughtful, lonely, and burdened by sorrow. One evening, he shared his story. "I was once human," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But a curse was placed upon me, a punishment for pride and cruelty. Only true love can break the spell. But who could love a beast?" Belle looked into his eyes and saw not a monster, but a soul yearning to be understood. Time passed. Belle's affection grew. She smiled more, laughed more, and the beast began to hope. But one day, Belle looked into the magical mirror he had given her and saw her father, sick and alone. "I must go to him," she said. "I will not stop you," the beast replied, "but please return before the 7th sunset." Belle promised and hurried home. Her father's health improved at the sight of her, and they shared joyful days together. But her sisters, still envious, tricked her into staying longer, hoping the beast would lose hope. On the evening of the 7th day, Belle felt a terrible ache in her heart. She rushed back to the castle. The skies thundered and the trees seemed to weep as she arrived. She found the beast in the garden, lying among the roses. His breath was shallow, his eyes closed. Belle fell to her knees. "No, please, I'm here. You were kind, patient, and gentle. You saw me not as others do, and I love you, as you are." A brilliant light exploded from the sky. The winds roared and spun, lifting the petals into a spiral of gold. Before her, the beast vanished, and in his place stood a young man with kind eyes and a familiar soul. "Belle," he whispered, "you broke the spell." The castle came alive. The servants, once trapped in enchanted forms, regained their true selves. Music filled the halls. Bells rang from towers. The prince took Belle's hand. "Will you stay?" he asked. "With all my heart," she answered. And so they lived, not in grandeur alone, but in understanding and love. Belle continued to read and wander, and the prince walked beside her, forever grateful for the girl who saw with her heart. And their story, of courage, compassion, and true love, lived on, told in soft voices by candlelight, passed from generation to generation,